When we talk about leadership challenges, implicit bias might not be the first thing that comes to mind. But here's the reality. It's silently influencing your decisions and your business success every single day. Hi entrepreneurs, I'm Vicky Brown, and you're in the right place if you want to engage your team, boost your business, and grow your leadership muscle. So, what exactly is implicit bias? Well, it's an unconscious attitude or stereotype that affects our decisions and actions without us even realizing it. And as a leader, these biases don't just live in your head. They manifest in your hiring practices, in who gets promoted, in who you trust with important projects. Now, why should you care? Because these unconscious biases can lead to unfair practices and poor team morale. And let's be honest, they can lead to missed business opportunities. As a leader, your behaviors and decisions shape your company culture, whether you realize it or not. And your team is watching what you do, not just what you say. Now, implicit bias doesn't mean you're a bad person. In fact, it's human. We can all fall prey. It's kind of our natural fallback position. Here are some common examples. There's the mini-me effect, where you unconsciously favor candidates who remind you of yourself. They think like you, talk like you, walk like you, maybe even they look like you. It feels comfortable, but comfort isn't always what your business really needs to grow. Then there's assuming personality traits based on identity. The same assertive behavior might be labeled leadership material for one person, but aggressive or difficult for another, depending on their gender or race. Another classic is uneven delegation. That's when you're consistently giving the growth opportunities and stretch assignments to certain team members, while overlooking others who are just as capable. You see, over time, this creates a lopsided team where some people thrive and others stagnate. And the fact is, these biases can show up everywhere in our daily leadership. They can influence performance reviews, who gets glowing feedback versus who gets criticized for minor issues. They affect communication, who you're casual with versus formal with, who gets access to you versus who has to go through channels. They can determine who represents your company to clients and who stays behind the scenes. And most critically, they influence who gets mentored, promoted, or trusted with key projects that could advance their career. Now again, I want to be clear. You're not a bad person if you have biases. You're only human. We all have them. The goal isn't perfection, it's awareness and action. Recognizing that we all operate with these blind spots is actually the first step toward addressing them. So let's talk about some concrete steps to identify and overcome bias. First, audit your decisions. When you make a hiring choice or give someone a project, ask yourself, would I make this same choice if the person looked different or had a different background? And be brutally honest with yourself. Next, diversify your input. If you're only getting feedback from people who think like you, well, you're missing the whole picture. Seek perspectives from people with different backgrounds and different experiences, not just your inner circle. Third, slow down. You see, bias creeps in when we make decisions on autopilot or under pressure. Build in reflection time before important decisions so that you can ensure you're being deliberate rather than just defaulting to what feels familiar. Fourth, standardize your processes. Use structured interview questions, clear performance metrics, and checklists to reduce subjective judgments. The more objective criteria you have, the less room there is for bias to operate. And beyond your personal approach, focus on creating an inclusive culture. Now, I know the term inclusive has become charged lately, but people tend to overlook what it really means. It's about not excluding any parties or groups, bringing everyone in, not leaving anyone out. Model openness by sharing your own learning journey around bias with your team. When you acknowledge that you're working on this too, well, it signals that it's a priority and it creates space for growth. Open the door to feedback. Encourage your employees to speak up if they see patterns or blind spots in how decisions are made. That feedback is golden, even when it's uncomfortable to hear. Provide training for your team, especially those who manage others. Short, focused microlearning around bias can help everyone recognize and interrupt the pattern. Now, let's talk business case, because this isn't just about feeling good. Inclusive teams demonstrably perform better because diverse perspectives lead to better problem solving. Companies with inclusive leadership are more attractive to top talent in a competitive marketplace. And let's be practical. Avoiding legal and reputational risks, that starts with fair, equitable practices. So, here's my call to action for you. First, reflect. What's one decision you made recently that may have been influenced by bias? Could be who you called on in a meeting, or who you assigned to a project, or even who you had lunch with. Second, take action. What's one small change that you can make this week to interrupt bias? Maybe it's creating a standardized interview process, or reviewing your last 3 promotions to look for patterns, or simply making a point to get input from someone whose perspectives you don't typically seek out. Remember, this work is ongoing. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. Small, consistent steps toward awareness and action. They'll make you not just more equitable as a leader, but more effective. And in today's business world, that's not just the right thing to do, it's a competitive advantage. If you found this information helpful, please subscribe and share. And remember, your inspired leadership is the secret sauce to having a high-performance team and a wildly successful business you'll love. I'll see you next time on Leader's Journey.